the beacon itself is just a piece of code that comes back to, the bad guy server and says like, I'm here, I'm alive, give me something to do. And so then the bad guy can like it can send it code to execute. There's a couple like, basic commands like show me what's in this directory, read me this file, tell me what kind of system this is, that's already kind of like baked into like the basic version, or you can like insert more powerful functionality if, you've got that handy. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So it's also expensive. So yeah. All right. Our last demo, and again, this is pretty short, just showing you like, one more way that you might not expect that you have. Oh yes, that you might not expect that you can do it, but we'll see if this works just with, there we go. Okay. Oh, I can't expand this though. So the display filter at the top is just a way to like, narrow down exactly what packets. Oh, Wireshark. Wireshark is a way to look at a piece of network traffic. So, stuff goes between, point A and point B in packets. And this is just a really handy visual tool to be able to like look at each piece of data exactly as it flies over a network. This particular sample is showing someone attempting to exploit the Log4j vulnerability. If you guys remember that from a couple years ago, it was gigantic because basically everything used it. And the way it worked is like it sent a specific string into a server and got code execution that way, and like trivially. So if I was trying, like, let's say this was a lot bigger and, I was told like somewhere in here, the exploit occurred and go find it. And I don't know, much about it, but I've seen some examples of what that looks like. And for reference, what it kind of looks like is, oh, hold on. This should work actually, because nope, it doesn't. Maybe my control's broken. Shift control? No. Ooh. Aha. Okay. So it looked like something like this. And then address, code. So like something like this would, be in logs, and then once it's read by the Log4j server, like it executes it. So it looks something like this. But the other thing is this can be LDAP. The other protocol that was able to be exploited was something called RMI. Also, sometimes people like put characters in here. Like one of the obfuscation forms was this. Basically something like that. Like you could obfuscate this so that, if all I searched for was like, this particular string that I thought I was going to see, someone who was being particularly clever might get past you. So I was actually not able to get an obfuscated exploitation attempt. I can probably make one, but the time I gave myself, I didn't make it happen. But if I was to try and search for something like this, so somewhat trivially, I could say frame matches. Remember, regular expressions are trying to find matches of a particular piece of data. R means raw string. And I'm sorry, I can't zoom the actual bar any further. I'm going to escape the $, because remember, that's an anchor symbol. I'm going to escape the curly brace because I'm not quantifying anything. And then I'm just going to find J and DI. So that's all I'm doing right now. And it does end up finding it. It finds it in this GET request, which, gosh, they put it inside the user agent string. So no one wants to see the raw hex. There we go. So this is what this particular thing looked like. So it reached out to an address and calls back this. It's basically a malicious jar, if I recall. So, and then remember we have that obfuscation strategy. So you might be able to find like, okay, I want to find 0 or more of these particular characters that I know are used to obfuscate this string right here. And I'll like put that same pattern in between the J and the N and the D and the I. And so I can still find what I'm looking for, but even if they try to obfuscate it, then this will still find a match. So it's another one of the ways that you might be able to use this if you're in Wireshark a lot and you're looking for a pattern and not simply a literal string. That is the end of my demos. Just as a preview for the future, some demos that I'm hoping to add before I do this talk again would be showing how this is used in snort rules in like a more advanced search in a SIM like Splunk or Elastic. How it's helpful if you're using Burp Suite to define your scope or do some match and replaces. And then like what it would look like if you just wrote a Python script that employed these. So those are future demos that I'm hoping to add or replace current content with.
And you're currently planning to give this talk at the DEF CON 864 group, right?
Yes.
Okay.
DC 864 will, I don't have a time yet for when that will take place, but
we'll make sure it incorporates the additional.
Right.
Which is a great group, by the way. DEF CON 864, you got to go to that. Thursday's your next meeting, right?
This Thursday.
Yeah. These are some of those resources that I mentioned for learning more. Regular expression, tacexpressions.info has basically everything that you want to know, but it does go deep. RegEx 1 is kind of like an interactive tutorial if you're someone who learns more hands-on. I know I am. Also RegEx Learn, it's another one of those. And then here are a couple cheat sheets that are useful to have on hand. Like I said, RegEx 101 has something built into it, but if you're someone who you like to find the one that works for you and you want it handy offline, then those are some other ones that you could look at. And questions?
Just a tip on the RegEx 101, you can host that locally pretty easily.
Yep.
A lot of times you're working with sensitive data, especially if it's logs.
Yeah, we have one in our intranet, so.
Yeah, just host it locally.
Yep. Great point. Any other questions or comments?
Questions online?
I don't have any, Jace.
Cool.
No one else has any questions? Seriously? About regular expressions?
You had
Yeah.
there you go. You had in one of the slides. There was a structure that had dot star question mark. What would that even be?
Yeah. So it's like purposefully like in there because it's a demonstration of like you don't want to do that because it is so ambiguous. And it's also a little redundant. So dot's the wild card. So it's basically could be anything. Star means 0 or more. And then the question mark is like it can be there or it could not be there. So it's like you're using multiple special characters to try and accomplish the same thing. Like if you really just want to find 0 or more of anything, dot star is the best way to go. So the question mark is redundant in that particular case.
So
Yeah.
there's different languages that are different engines that'll behave different ways.
Yes.
I've seen that as a non-greedy.
As a non-greedy, yes. I'm trying to remember which one. I think it actually. Yeah, I'm not going to commit to one because I couldn't tell you. But yes, there is at least one engine that does do non-greedy matches, which means like if it finds. So the way that might matter is in hop back over here. So if your regular expression is like A, B star, well, we'll say B plus, then a non-greedy match would be like, I found A, B, I'm good. I have succeeded in the regular expression. And if it's greedy, then it's going to match on everything. That mainly matters when like that's at the very end of the expression. But it kind of doesn't make a difference if you need to find a C afterwards. Then greedy and non-greedy are going to behave exactly the same way. So
Greedy, would it match like B plus B?
B plus be, yeah, I mean, it would definitely match it because all that greedy means is it will go as far as it can, but it's still gonna like find a valid match.
It's going to
If it's
backtrack
there.
one.
Right.
Once it,
Yeah.
And that's the problem with backtracking. Is that
Yeah.
There's some engines like the language Go doesn't allow that backtracking to
Mm,
avoid that security issue. Now, of course, that makes it less powerful.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they don't have. Well, other languages like PHP and Ruby added not too long ago, they just added timeout. And so,
yeah.
you know, if he still gives you the power, but then
Right.
you can say no registration should last more than
Yeah.
0.1 millisecond or whatever.
Right. So like in the B+B, which is what we were talking about. There we go. Boom. Anyways, so yeah, the greedy one would go all the way here, and then I don't have a B. Let me backtrack one to see if there's a B, and then it would hit it. Whereas the non-greedy would probably stop. It would stop right here because it would find the minimum number of Bs that it needs, and then the next B. So yeah, knowing that goes into like one of the common pitfalls, like know the nuance of whatever you're working with. So great question. Any others?
I was just gonna say you're brave for doing RegEx live.
Yeah. I was a little nervous about it. Cool. Well, thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I landed on exactly 42 slides. That is fortuitous.
Well, thank you very much, Duncan. We really appreciate you giving us a talk tonight. And I guess we'll say good night, everyone. Good night, Ben.
Good night, Jace.
We'll see y'all soon.
Bye.
Yeah, let's see. I was gonna say there were some. Oh, you wanted to talk about alt computing?
Yeah, just for a sec, if it's all right.
Yeah.
It's now good.
Yeah, this is a good.
Yeah, so just real quick, tomorrow we're hosting an open house for this thing called alt computing, which is a meetup we're starting up. I think it was 1 or 2 Linux meetups ago. I don't know. I think 2. We did. We covered kind of one of the core things we're working on, which is this weird computer interface called Folk Computer, which is this it's an operating system, it's a reactive database, it's a bunch of interesting things. So we're going to be working on that tomorrow. I'm going to be working on this weird propagator programming language that I'm working on. So yeah, if any of that sounds interesting, it's 6:30 till 8 at Synergy Mill, which is like 5 minutes away from here. Should be a fun time. So,
You want to expand on Thursday's DEF CON 864?
Yes, this Thursday, DEFCON 864 will be here. We start at 6:30. We generally go till 8, and then there's usually like an after-party dinner that happens after that. This week, I'd have to look on Meetup, but we're having someone local from, let's say it's like code enablement, so it's like knowledge and training, so they're kind of sharing what their program is and then what it's about. Didn't organize that one, unfortunately. I'm not read in what it is.
Anyone else want to talk about any other groups? Otherwise, thank y'all for coming. I appreciate it. This is like the biggest crowd we've had in a long time, and I'm humbled by seeing everyone, especially faces I hadn't seen in a while. It's really great to see everybody. Thanks. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Jace.
Arnold and Joey, good to see you. Y'all have a good night.
You too.